Hello, hello, and welcome to the Small Business Wealth Connection brought to you by the National Sales Network Los Angeles chapter. Today is May 28th, 2014, and today's topic is 10 tips to ensure that you have a scalable business. My name is Ray, your professional wellness and business consultant, and let me go ahead and introduce to you the rest of our amazing panel for today. We have Ms. Shelon Douglas.
Hi everyone, my name is Shelon Douglas. I'm with Turnkey the Professionals, and I'm known to be your innovation.
Hello, and welcome to the Small Business Wealth Connection brought to you by the National Sales Network Los Angeles chapter. Today is May 28th. Bill, I think you got to do something with that audio. 10 tips to ensure that you have a scalable business. My name is Ray, your professional wellness and business consultant. And let me go ahead and introduce to you the rest of our amazing panel for today. We have Ms. Shelon Douglas.
That's not me.
Hi everyone, my name is Shelon Douglas. I'm with Turnkey the Professionals, and I'm known to be your innovation.
Hello, and welcome to the Small Business Wealth Connection brought to you by the National Sales Network Los Angeles chapter.
We're having just a little bit of technical difficulty.
Do something with that audio.
Don't have a link up or something? Do you have a website up?
No, nobody has. I'm not quite sure.
I'm not sure where that's coming from. Does someone have it up on their screen? Okay. No one's responding. There you go. Someone just shut it off. Thank you.
That was actually coming from Shelon's line.
Okay.
So, I was going down muting, so.
Okay. So Shelon, please take it off of your screen. That's why we were getting the feedback. It's on your screen, on your computer screen.
Up on my screen?
Yes, it's either a link on your screen or it's your phone or something. It's playing back. So turn it off, please.
Okay, I think I handled it. Is that better, you guys?
We can continue.
Okay.
Go back in.
All right, y'all. Sometimes it happens like that.
Glad we got it worked out.
Yes. Again, I just like to reintroduce myself. My name is Shelon Douglas. I'm with Turnkey the Professionals. I'm an innovational strategist, as well as your businesspreneur of influence and the creator of the ownership circle model.
Thank you. Now we have Mr. Terrence Pope.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terrence Pope, and I am a business development professional in the industries of financial services and sales, and I'm excited to be on the call today.
Great. And now we have Ms. Tanya Matthews.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Matthews, and my company is the Virtual Business Loft, and I specialize in virtual assistant services as well as mobile marketing services, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We have Mr. Ralph Pittman.
Hi, my name is Ralph Pittman, president of Innovatin. We are a human resources as well as an employee engagement business consulting firm. I will also be one of your hosts of today.
Excellent. And last but not least, Mr. Kel Beverly.
I'm the guy behind the scenes trying to keep all this technical stuff together. Good to be part of this. Good to see you guys. Waiting to hear Shelon spit some wisdom on us. So thank you guys. Beverly Boy Productions.
Yes, and if all of you guys listening, you can see that he has a telephone number, 646-668-8863. For those of you guys who want to call in, this is a live broadcast, so if you want to call in and ask questions to our panels, please do so. Also, if you're viewing on YouTube, you'll see a little box what allows you to prompt in and submit your questions via chat. So, again, this is a live broadcast. We would love to hear from you. And without further ado, thank you for that, Kel. This is why we have you. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into our presentation. Ms. Shelon, today's topic is 10 tips to make sure that you have a scalable business. Let's start off by defining what exactly is a scalable business. That is typically not a term that we hear of very often.
Right. Again, I'm excited to be on the call today, and thank you for allowing all of us to be able to present and give some information to all of those business entrepreneurs that are out there. As small business owners, we're struggling every day to keep our doors open and, grow our business, but we really should be focused on how can we make our business model scalable. And one of the things that I hear all the time, or I see all the time, is that business professionals, they focus a lot on working inside of their business instead of really working on their business and making their business models to be automated. And that's truly the difference between scaling and scaling your business model versus growing your business model. And we'll get into that a little bit shortly. But one of the things that I wanted to point out is that in the beginning, there should be two main things that you should ask yourself in the very beginning of when you're starting your business or you even have an idea to explode for growth. And that is, what is the end goal? What is your end goal from the very beginning? That's question number one. And then question number two should be, what is my exit strategy? If you can't answer these two things from the very beginning, you will start off actually without having a clear focus or direction in what you're trying to accomplish. So those are two things that I want to stress to everyone that is participating on this presentation today. What is your end goal and what is your exit strategy? The purpose for that is because nowadays, because we do live in a 21st century of technology, we should always be anticipating of having some type of technology integration into our business models. And through technology is how we can scale our business models to basically operate without us. And that's something else that I wanted to point out to everyone participating on the call. Your business should be able to run and operate without you being so involved. And we use the terminology over on our end that's called a businesspreneur. And a businesspreneur is one who owns a system that is managed by others. And in addition to that system, you're able to convert and optimize your assets to maximize your profits. Now, I know that probably sounds like a lot, but truly, if you own a system, that is how you can truly scale your business model and attract so many potential investors if that is within your exit strategy or one of your end goals. So you can see why I've already started out by saying those are two main questions that you really should focus on from the very beginning, because of the fact that some people may not want investors, and some people may feel comfortable with having like I hate to use this term, but a mom and pop shop. Some people may not want to grow on or scale on a global level. So it's important to know those two questions from the beginning. Also, too, if your business follows a scalable model, then your customers, it leaves less work for you to be stuck working in your business, and you'll be more focused on working on your business, and you can work on your business from anywhere around the world. So a lot of times, you'll hear people who say, oh, Shelon, I wish that I could have a business model, or I wish I could have a business to where I'm making money in my sleep, but I can still travel, I can still spend time with my family, I can still be wherever I want to be and, still make money. Well, in order to do that, you need to have a scalable model, okay? And that is having a model that's automated and that is just being ran systematically. So I hope that helps some of you that is on this call to, right? I heard you say that we're not used to hearing words like that, but really we speak on it almost daily, but we just don't understand what it is that we're actually speaking on. Does that make sense, you guys? You'll hear people talk about what they want to do, but they really don't understand what it is that they're truly saying, that they really would love to own a system versus working or being stuck working in their business.
Right, exactly. No, I think that was good. I'm sorry, I forgot my question really quick. Thank you so much for that, Shelon.
No problem. So if you would like for me to proceed on to getting started with its, top 10 tips, or I should say at least 10. There's so many different tips. We can go beyond 10, but I felt like these were most important, at least from the beginning, if you have a business idea that you're interested in scaling into an opportunity for investors, or even an acquisition position. And I'm not sure how many are participating knows what acquisition means, but when you hear of opportunities that took place, such as Facebook acquired the platform WhatsApp, I believe it was, and you guys can correct me, but was it for 16 billion or something like that? $16 billion, anybody know? That's one example. Another example is when you hear, as of late, Dr. Dre and how Apple is in the process of acquiring his product called the Beat for $3.2 billion. So those are acquisition positions, and if that is within your exit strategy or one of your end goals, then you need to know how to be able to start the process to make your product, to fit within a scalable business model. Okay. So, and again, I want this to be as interactive as possible. Anybody can jump in and add more if you want to, but I pretty much, want to be able to just I could give so much, but I know we don't have that much time today on the panel presentation. So I'll get started. Do you want me to go ahead and get started with the tips? Or?
Well, I wanna just make sure people understand like the difference between scalable and growing your business, because scalable looks like we're expanding. So I just want to really go into the difference between scalable and growing, because they seem so similar.
Right. And that's true. And that's actually one of the tips that we will be talking about, here shortly. I just wanted to make sure in the beginning of the presentation that people could understand like what we mean as far as you want to be focused on scaling your business. When it comes to scalability, it's having less efforts. Let me give you an example. If you have a business model that's built on automation, then that actually means that you're spending less dollars. You spend your dollars in the beginning the first time to build the product or to build the scalable business model, but then after that, it automatically can handle an unlimited amount of customers or traffic within your marketplace. Makes sense? When you grow your business model, growing your business model is when, as you grow, you have to hire more humans or more physical bodies to keep up with traffic. Okay? So scaling is more so an automated thing to where you can grow as many clients or as many customers at an unlimited process that can be handled by technology, versus as you grow, you have to, like, for example, if you have a service, if you provide a service, let's just say consulting, and the more customers that you get, you actually need more physical bodies like administrative assistants or executive assistants or whomever to add to your team in order to keep up with the customer service. That's the big difference between growing and scaling. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. And I know that you have a ton of different tips that you also have prepared today, and I'm excited to get an opportunity to hear those. You said you have 10, correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. So basically what I was saying is that is absolutely correct. And so therefore, I also want to get right into jumping in and figuring out and hearing exactly what those 10 tips are you have to offer everyone. I know everyone is excited about them as well.
Right. Okay. So I guess I can get started, and Tanya and Terrence, you guys can jump in. So tip number one, everybody, I like to share is this. If you need investors, then of course you start with a scalable idea. And I'm sure you guys have heard that people come up with ideas or they're a dime a dozen, right? But just because you have an idea and it sounds good to you and your friends and associates, you could think it's cool, but that doesn't really mean that it's scalable. investors, especially like I said, if your exit strategy is to get investors to buy into your idea, your product, or your business models, they like to be focused on making sure that their money is going to go a long way without so much work involved. So the more automation you have in your idea or your business model, the more attractive it is to an investor. So just keep that in mind. Whatever idea or product that you have for your business, make sure that it can be automated through some type of technology integration. Another tip that I have as far as, I'm sorry?
What would be an example of that, a scalable idea?
A perfect example, I would say, like anything, like a mobile application. Okay. Say you have, you can have, and let me make clear of this too, you can still have a service that you provide, but say you wanted to take that service to be able to capture the audience or the marketplace to an online feature. So say that service you wanted to turn into some type of mobile application, that now has become from a growth state to now a scalable execution. Okay, you can actually have a mobile application to where you may want to provide some type of video or some type of what we call in the business edutainment activity. The more edutaining your actual idea can be online, the more interactive and frequency people would want to come back to. And what we mean by frequency is coming back, keep coming back to whatever it is you have to offer. Well, once you create that synergy, what happens is now you grow your numbers. And the more there, we all know that there's strength in numbers. It attracts your partners, it attracts your sponsors, your collaborators, cooperative business partnerships, and things like that. So the more numbers you grow through an automated feature, then that becomes attractive to where someone like Apple or Google or some type of huge platform will come and knock on your door and possibly want to put you into an acquisition position. So that's what I mean. Does that help a little bit, Ray?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Tip number 2 would be to focus on building out a business model versus focusing on a business plan. And believe it or not, a lot of small business owners are still stuck and focused on starting out with their business plan. And there's a huge difference between the two. If you focus on your business model, the more you focus on your model is basically your blueprint, okay? It's the blueprint to the structure of your business on how you're going to make money off of your product or service. You guys get that? It's actually, it's something that's real and it's more tangible, and it lets you know right away if what you have to offer, which is what we equivalent that to value proposition. The more value you have to offer to your marketplace, the more your marketplace will buy into your idea, okay? And that spells out as something real to investors. That is what makes whatever you have to offer real, is because the marketplace is actually buying into whatever it is you have to offer through your product or service. When you focus on a business plan, that's nothing more than just content that's written or planned out on a piece of paper. You can have the most beautiful business plan as all get out, but you don't know if that business plan is going to work for you or not. You won't know until you actually start to go and execute your business model. So that's why we say focus on your business model first and then concentrate on your business plan. Your business plan is supposed to be a plan of what's proven through your business model. Make sense? So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to use a minimum viable product, which is also known as an MVP, to validate your model. And I know that some of these things may be new to some of you or that are participating, but that's okay. We have a workshop that we'll mention about later on to kind of go into more of the details. But nevertheless, when you focus on a minimum viable product, that is you're ready to scale until you can show that it's working. And that's kind of like what I just got through explaining. You come up, you have an idea, you put it together, you kind of test it with your marketplace, and you want to see if it's something that your marketplace is even interested in. And then from there, once you start to get feedback, then you can go on to continue to building out your business model. So definitely it lets you know, like for example, because we all live and breathe this every single day, we'll come up with an idea and we'll say, oh, this is awesome, you know, we'll be successful in going on and carrying out whatever product or service you have to offer. And then only to go and test it, and next thing you know, you did all this marketing, you did all this strategic work, you did all the you know, preparations for your brilliant idea, but then you have no one buying into the product. You have no one that's actually grabbing on to the marketing or any type of presentation you have to offer, and no sales are coming in. So when that happens, that means that you need to go back to the drawing table and you need to start doing some type of marketing research. You need to ask more questions, and you need to be able to come back, what we call pivot. You need to be able to come back and you need to be able to restructure. Not saying, or if you find out that what you have to offer is just not wanted from the marketplace, then that's when you know it's time to go ahead and do away with that what you thought was a brilliant idea, because at the end of the day, it's not about what you think. It's all about what your marketplace wants. It's not about what you think. It's about what they want, okay? And I guess I'll give one more tip, and then I'll let somebody else speak. Tip number 4, make sure, this is important, build a strong team that can take yourself out of the critical path. So what that means is that it goes back into in the beginning of getting started. You don't want to be stuck working inside of your job. That's when things become frustrating. It can get tiresome, or you can become overwhelmed. It makes you want to give up on whatever it is that you have to offer, because at the end of the day, it is about, we're servants. It is about what we have to offer to help with the needs, to help people's lives better, right? So it's better if you can have a team that will allow you to take yourself out of the equation and basically multiply yourself a number of times through your team that can allow you to do that, so you don't get burnt out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
how do you, speaking of a team, I know for me, a lot of people are used to doing things by themselves. How do you inspire people to help you, or how do you go about building a good team? How would you go about doing that? Some suggestions, or finding the right people?
That's an excellent question. Do you guys want me to keep talking, or somebody else wants to grab that? I can talk all day long now.
Go ahead, Shelon, knock it out.
Do you guys want me to answer it, or Tanya? You guys somebody else want to take it?
Well, this is Tanya, and I'll touch more. I guess that's gonna kind of roll into a little bit about what I was going to speak on, which is outsourcing.
Okay.
That's a great way to scale your business, because no one can really do it on their own, and you can outsource tons of things. What you don't want to do is outsource your core competencies, but you want to kind of outsource pretty much everything else. So you want, but you don't want to do all of the work. You can't run your business and be a salesperson, so therefore you should outsource your sales activities, meaning have someone making your business calls for you, have someone setting your appointments for you, and as they are doing those very important tasks, that frees you up to work on other avenues of your business. And if someone is making your sales calls and someone is setting your appointments, you can go out in the field and close all day long, because sales is the basis of every business. If you don't have revenue, you don't have a business. And other things that you can outsource to help you with your business, all of your administrative tasks, such as your email marketing, your social media, your Facebook and LinkedIn posting. These are great things to have someone else do for you. Take them out of your way. And how do you know when it's the right time for you to outsource? It's always a good time to outsource, trust me, because as a small business owner, you just cannot do everything yourself. No matter how much you try and how much you feel that you have control over your business, you don't. You will become frazzled, and this is talking from personal experience. You become frazzled and therefore non-productive, and you lose productivity in business by trying to manage everything on your own.
Hey, Tanya, that's great response. I just had a quick question for you also in regards to just outsourcing. I know that there's two particular models. Shelon did also mention about just replicating or duplicating yourself as well. Do you recommend going and outsourcing services to another company to handle those particular functions and activities, or would your recommendation be to actually hire and build a team?
Well, it depends on your business model. It truly depends on your business model. You can use a service that can handle that for you. If you're a small business, it's probably more economically feasible if you hire a service to do those for you. For example, I represent virtual services, and my services are outsourced. And so my team can do it at a minimal cost. However, if I'm going to outsource locally, it's going to cost me a lot more to provide services to you and your business. And as a small business owner, it's going to cost you as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, Tanya, I wanted to mention that you do provide outsourcing services, and I wanted to just for you to enlighten other people, because some business owners are a little skeptical about doing that in terms of cost or trust issues. Give me some examples on how or some things that some testimonials that your clients have said about you and how you've actually benefited other small businesses or large businesses for your services.
Sure. Benefits are cost. First and foremost, there's a cost benefit. Small businesses, I'm taking away the tasks out of their hand. For example, there are a group of ladies who need to have basic things set up, their basic multimedia set up, basic Facebook, LinkedIn posting. They're really not experienced on setting these programs up, so that's outsourced. And once they're created, it's not too much more difficult to tell them how to work the services. But a lot of time is wasted trying to figure out how to get in, how to set it up, how to create passwords. That's one of the things that I'm working with. I'm also working with realtors, which I just kind of recently started with, and I love this vertical because I'm still a real estate agent, and I use this model for myself. For example, I use one of my virtual assistants to field all of my clients for me. So she's finding out who's on the title, how much the property is worth. She does reverse lookup services to create a list of, or to get the homeowner's address, or if she has the address, she'll try to get the phone number for me. So this is another way that you can outsource. I kind of lost track of what the original question was, but
no, I think you answered. I just wanted to know how you benefited your customers in terms of your outsourcing services. I think you answered that. So where we are right now, we're talking about 10 tips on how to ensure that you have a scalable business. And so far, Ms. Shelon went over 4 of those ideas, which is number 1, make sure you have a scalable idea. Number 2, make sure you build a good business model. Number 3, have a minimum viable product. And number 4, build a strong team. So now let's get into tip number 5. Who wants to go into that?
Actually, it's 6, Ray. Tanya started 5.
Okay. Tanya started 5. Okay. Outsourcing, that is absolutely correct.
Yes. Please consider it. It's a great way to scale your business.
I agree.
So I guess I'll jump right in and work on tip number 6, which is focus on marketing and indirect channels to get the message out quickly. One of the other services that I also provide is mobile and all-in-one marketing. Great way to get exposure. What you want to do in this, because one of the things we all do, we all live by our phones, right? We all live by our phones. What you may want to consider is to take your list of clients and put them into a mobile marketing platform, meaning collect their data and market to them through their phone. They may not get that email message. They may not read it. However, most of us, again, are attached to our phones. So when my notification goes off on my phone, I'm going to check the message. That message can be something, let's say if you are a retailer, you can be informing me that you have a 20% special off of all shoes today. If you're a restaurant and you're a little bit slow, you can push me a text message saying, happy hour, 50% off all happy hour items from 3 to 5. And guess what? If I'm hungry and if I'm in the neighborhood, I'm going to go get my happy hour special. And so that's a great way to engage your audience and keep them coming back to you. Also with that, take a look at using your Facebook and your LinkedIn and your Twitter accounts. Everyone's online right now. Everyone, you can't escape it. You have to engage people through social media, and it's just going to explode even more so than it already has done. So these are things that you definitely want to consider when you're marketing your business. Any questions?
Nope, that was pretty good.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll take 7 as well. And that's along with automation. So all of these kind of roll into one another. You can use different programs such as Aweber. There's tons of them that will allow you to automate your business. And one of the ones I just recently found is called Max Lead Pro. Max Lead Pro will allow you to take your business and send out blog updates, post to your social media for you on your behalf whenever you want to do your post, and you pretty much don't have to do anything. You just program all these things in there together. Now I know there are tons of platforms that will do this for you. The difference between those and this one is not only does it post to your social media, as I just stated, but it also allows you to push out your blog post for you. So, okay, so definitely consider automation. That takes you away from your desk and frees you up to do other things like make money.
What are some other things that can be automated aside from that? Because I know for me, I would love to have my entire business be, you know, automated. So we get a virtual assistant or outsource and maybe get that automated. We set up some automation tweaks. What are some other examples of ways we can automate? Because I'm trying to automate every single thing that I do. So I can use as many ideas as possible.
You can automate your emails. So many people do emails with autoresponders. I think about the number of emails that you get and the people that you get them from. So many of them are not live emails. People are just not sitting at their desks sending emails. They'll create a system where they will push out an email today, maybe at 10 o'clock, and then maybe push out another one later in the day or push out another one the following day. So if you work your system properly, you can set all of this up at the beginning of your week, and your emails will be automated, just working on their own. What else can you automate? Voice response messages, marketing messages to your clients. You can also market the platform that I work with, the virtual assistants, the mobile marketing services that I have. You can also you can program appointments, appointment reminders. There's just tons of things that you can do. Birthday reminders, birthday cards. Yeah.
I know that there's also a solution out there called Constant Contact. I don't know if everyone has heard about it, but it's something pretty economical, especially for small businesses, to help out with those marketing activities where you can really truly brand yourself, your identity, the business, as well as be able to automate a lot of different things to make sure that you're reaching your target audience. So I believe that they also do a lot of things in regards to even updating and pushing information to Facebook, to Twitter, and things of that nature. And so it really is about just that outreach. So it's a lot of different solutions out there that you can really leverage.
Right. And again, that goes back to in the beginning when I was saying taking yourself out of the way. So this is great information because of the fact that, let's just say you hire a virtual assistant to set up all your automation for you. That's like a double effective, strategy to being taken out of the way, but yet your business is very, very effective. And you talk about the exposure that you get through automation, which adds to your numbers, which again, we said there's strength in the numbers that attracts your marketplace, and that could be your marketplace of investors, partners, sponsors, you name it. So again, this is some strong information. I really like it.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, so we spoke about, so Tanya went over speaking about outsource, what is non-strategic to optimize and leverage, focus on marketing and indirect channels to get the message out quickly, as well as automating to the max. We want to also jump into number 8, 9, and 10, and I believe Terrence is going to be doing that.
Hey, Ralph, thanks a lot. Yes, it's the last 3 tips kind of piggyback on the first 7 tips that Shelon and Tanya went over. And, you know, this is something that people have to kind of open up to with all the opportunities out there now for investors to come on board. You definitely want to follow those first 7 tips first of all, because the tip that I'm going to touch on relate to attracting and relishing investor funding. Shelon mentioned early on that first, when you get that scalable ideal, you know, that's not enough. You have to build your business model around that so that, again, you are attracting the right team, the right people, and those type of things. And then Tanya mentioned how you automate those things, because one thing that we definitely want to do is when you build a business, when you think about it, you want to set up your retirement. And I know for me personally, going into business, we all have that exit strategy or that retirement planning. And when you attract and relish investor funding, you essentially are doing that because it allows you to grow your business a lot faster. Typically, companies are, you know, they use organic growth, which means that, you know, you put your service or your product out there, and then you take those profits and you have to reinvest them into your company to keep going. So really, you know, you're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that kind of thing. But, you know, if you have the right scalable ideal, if you have the right team, if you have the right automation, you can get there at a much faster pace. But one thing that's happening now, we're all familiar with Shark Tank, correct?
Right.
So what ends up happening is, you know, if you start getting a buzz about your business and, you know, you're seeing that you're getting, you know, hits and you're making money and things are starting to happen, you know, you want to really expedite that. So what investors are looking for, though, they want to make sure that you can articulate where you're going, what you're doing, and how your business is progressing, and they want you to put some figures to that. And that's where Tanya mentioned that the automation comes in, because there's so many tracking tools out there that tells you how many people are hitting your site, you know, how many people are buying your product or your service, and various things like that. And one thing you have to really consider is don't be afraid to get investors involved in your business, fear that they're going to take you over. You know, so if you build a model, you kind of outline what you're going to set aside for those particular investors as they come around, and you kind of dictate that. We think of individuals that are, you know, putting together applications and they're selling them online, and they're being bought up by, you know, Yahoo and Apple and all these other companies. And Shelon mentioned how Dr. Dre recently was acquired for $3.2 billion. I mean, who doesn't want to have that type of activity on a business that they start from their kitchen table, from their garage, and things like that, simply by putting your business model together and having a scalable ideal. So, in summary, tip number 8 is just to attract and relish investor funding. Don't run away from it. Don't, you know, assume that everybody's going to take over your business. Investors are very savvy, and they just want to make sure that you have something that's really, really solid. Moving on to tip number 9, you want to consider all possibilities for licensing and franchising. And this is, again, another way to, you know, to really expand your business and simplify, you know, your growth. Because a lot of times, you know, in the past, we would have to do, you know, we set up a shop here. I don't know, just say we're selling clothes. You start over here in Los Angeles, you want to expand to San Diego. You have to physically go there and do, look for the real estate, get the leases and all those things yourself, and physically be in two places as you start to grow. When you open up your business, and it's a scalable business and opportunity through licensing and franchising, you have other people that are investors coming to do that for you. Hey, I love what you're doing. I see you have a brand that, we can expand here, we can help you. And you're constantly making money because you're selling those licenses and you're selling, you're getting royalties on that. We think about companies like what? McDonald's, Starbucks, everywhere, every corner, you basically see companies like that have licensed and franchised their businesses for that growth. So those are, things that, again, you want to consider when you have an ideal, a service, a product that you want to expand. And again, if you automate the system, it becomes easy to do those things in various areas. So, but first of all, you got to have a proven model. So I definitely recommend that you go through tips 1 through 7 and put that in place, because what I'm telling you now is after pretty much all this success and all the exposure has come for your business. So again, you have to open your mind. You have to, do your research on, licensing and franchising. How do you set that up? How does it work? How do I grow? And put yourself in a position where your exit strategy and your retirement plan is, is really close, and your name has been branded, or your product has been branded, where everybody knows you no matter where you are in the United States or even internationally nowadays. And then finally, tip number 10 is you want to define a business that is open-ended and continuously improving. If you have a business where you're not open to, making additions or modifications or, growing, then you're going to stay stagnant. Competition is all around us. If you're not constantly, being innovative with your particular service or your product, you're going to fall by the wayside. In our program, we touch on innovation, which basically, ties in the automation piece along with the business education. So, you have to always try to be one step ahead of your competition. You don't want to get locked into, just solving one problem for customers and say, okay, I'll have these customers for life. You have to be able to go in and kind of, get some feedback from, your clients, from, maybe even some business partners, some mentors, people that you have met with or have really valuable information for you, so that you can, again, start to maybe redefine your model, maybe tweak it a little bit, maybe do some additions, and then you start to expand. Because one thing you don't want to do is expand too quickly and you can't handle it. So continual innovation will continue to set you apart. It'll start to attract, a bigger network. It'll start to attract investors. And again, you create a model where every time you get an interested party, you just simply put them through your system and let the chips fall where they may, whether they're going to be a partner, an investor, a franchisee of your business, and all those things start to come together. And no matter what your conversation is with those interested parties, you know how to put them into your system, and the outcome still comes out really successful for you. But you have to do all your homework up front, and put yourself in the position to to really be ready to receive the last 3 tips that I mentioned: investor funding, position yourself for growth with licensing and franchising, and also be ready to expand with innovation.
That's fantastic. Those are some great points. Just a quick question for you. And so, talking about just point number 8, which is attracting as well as relishing investors. So, I had a great question for you in regard. And one thing that you did mention is that people will see you out if all of a sudden if you do have a great brand. However, for small businesses that may not necessarily have that visibility as of yet, how do you recommend going out and finding those investors?
Well, Ralph, that's a great question, and I pretty much recommend, first of all, just staying with your niche, and word of mouth, and just having that automation. there, and believe it or not, there's people out there that actually go on to look at companies that are doing well. You know, so sometimes your growth and your expansion is beyond your control because people have that visibility to see and track, you know, how well you're doing. So sometimes even small business owners, they're content with staying in their local city. You know, I don't care if it's the local barbecue restaurant. I don't care if it's the local burger stand where they're only known within that particular city. But you know, the thing is, if the buzz gets out and investors are definitely looking for opportunities, then they'll seek you out. So hopefully I you know answered your question. But sometimes it's you know people will find you and it will start to happen because you know again you know people sometimes don't have the vision of licensing a franchise. They just don't think that big and they get content with being a small business or a mom and pop.
Can I add to that? It's an excellent question, and that's the reason why we're giving these tips is because if you hear our focus, one of our main focus is the automation, and because you have so many technology platforms and tools that are available for such an inexpensive price for a small business owner, we should definitely take advantage of all the tools that we could utilize to grow our brands. And if you stay focused with growing your brand with your particular niche and not try to market to the masses in the beginning, even if you do feel that you have a product or service that can cater to the masses, that's great. But in the beginning, you should narrow your focus to your niche market, meaning you're just a specific target audience, and then you leverage that by using the technology tools that are available at such a phenomenal cost. You understand what I'm saying? They're out there. There's so many platforms that are even free, okay, that you can utilize to leverage your brand that way. The more you leverage your brand through automation or through technology, that is how you grow your brand, through the exposure and raise those numbers which are attractive to investors. Once you do that, investors might even find you and come to you versus you doing all the work to go after them. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you guys will be willing to do this or not and actually take a moment to apply all these tips to a real life business. Let's say that because I know you guys kind of broke them up in three. I have a jewelry company. I'm just starting off. I'm making my own jewelry. Now, going from the first three, Shelon, what would you recommend going through all those tips? How do I start off? I have good jewelry, but I need to come up with a name. I need to make sure that the product is really great, but I know that I love jewelry and this is what I want to do. Using the tips that you went over, how would you apply that to me as that jewelry maker? And I just kind of want to Terrence and Tanya to think about that also, so we can like grow this business like in about 5 minutes or less, to apply to see how just step by step the process in a real live example.
Okay. Excellent question, Ray. And actually, to answer that, that is one of the services that we provide in our business development coaching to small business owners. There's 12 key elements that we use, whether it's building your business model or first applying 12 steps to apply to that idea to even see if it's even going to be a buy-in. And what I mean by a buy-in is customer acquisition. Will you get actual customers to buy into your product? So before you even get started, I know that a lot of small business owners, the first thing that they want to rush to is go get their business cards, go start working on their website, get their numbers and stuff up and things like that, but that's really not the way to start off. There's 12 key steps that are relevant to the 12 key elements, and that is the very first thing is making sure that you're focused on a value proposition. What is it of value that you have to offer? So when you look at, you use the example of jewelry. Well, when you go and do your research and development, you're most likely in an area where there's a lot of competition when it comes to jewelry. So what type of jewelry is it that you want to design and cater to your market audience? And then what type of market audience can you narrow down in? Like some people like fancy jewelry, some people like gothic jewelry, some people like crazy wild and out jewelry. You understand what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to kind of do focusing on your purpose-driven element, which is starting off with your value proposition. I don't really have, I'm looking at the time, there's really not time to go into all 12, but what I can tell you is that we are willing to bring something to the NSN members of Los Angeles, or for anyone for that matter, to teach you guys the steps of how you would get started, and that is with your value proposition. And then take once you can figure out what type of jewelry that you would like to sell, go on and see how many jewelry stores are out there that exist selling your specific type of jewelry. You understand what I'm saying? Then there's other elements that add to the equation that you'll want to just throw up like a landing page, and you'll want to do some type of a little bit of marketing on that. You want to test it with the market. You want to ask people. I would ask people what type of jewelry are they really interested in. Are you going to do jewelry that's very sentimental? So I know I'm saying a lot and throwing a lot, but there's a little bit of homework that you should do to make sure that when you get ready to test it out, that people will actually buy into it. And so there are 12 steps to that. I only mentioned one, and then I mentioned two because I talked about the purpose-driven, that's tying into your value proposition, and then you have your service-driven, which is basically what type of market will you cater to. There's 10 more. I don't know if Terrence and Tanya would like to add to it, but that's just the beginning, initial steps that I would suggest that you do.
Yeah, what I would like to add is just make sure that you do your homework. And I approach the business in a way where, you know, I'm writing a book or I'm telling a story, because your value proposition, as Shelon mentioned, is going to be unique to you. What sets you apart? You know, what do you want to achieve maybe that you as a consumer you don't get maybe from other jewelry stores, you know, and find out what it takes to maybe implement that or put it in place and various things like that. You know, maybe it's a unique way you have of reaching your target market. You know, there's various things still, even though there's a lot of automation and innovation and things going on, there's always something unique that you can create, whether it's your look, your design, you know, maybe just some type of ambiance that you bring about your jewelry that sells, you know. So you have to test the market, you know. And one thing I didn't do in some businesses I started early, I didn't get any feedback from partners. I just said, hey, I need an LLC, I'm ready to go, I'm licensed to do this, that, and the other, and I didn't necessarily go through doing all my homework to see what was necessary. So again, just based on past experiences, that's something that I would do a lot up front before I establish any type of corporation, is to do my homework to see what the structure needs to be and what my value proposition is.
Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and take some of the last few, make some of the last few statements with reference to building this business. Once you've done your homework and you've defined your market, and let's say if you want to market your jewelry to the businesswoman, let's say, or the middle-aged woman, I'm just grabbing off the top of my head, you can use a virtual assistant to do some data mining to find Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups that may be interested in those type of items. So once they have been found from your virtual assistant, you now have a list that you can work from. You can either maybe possibly go in yourself. I don't recommend it, but go in and have maybe your virtual assistant now contact the women who are in the group, send them a message, send them a request for a friend or what your product and services are, and direct them to your website or your Facebook page, whatever medium it is that you're using, and also build your list. Have them on an automated system so that you can use something like automated marketing to tell them when you're having sales, or tell them when you have a new line that's going to be coming out. Give them surveys. What else would you like to see? What do you like about the jewelry? What is it that you don't like about the jewelry? All of this can be automated, and I think it's a great way to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we're running out of time right now. Kel, you have been very quiet.
I've been working behind the scenes. We almost had our first call-in question. Lena Brown, I'll give her props for her business. She's got a business out of Castro Valley, California, premium quality health care. It looks like she has some products that she's selling, and I guess she was having some trouble getting in on the blog talk. I think that people have been getting some good information, and I'm just kind of working behind the scenes. I appreciate all the advice that you guys are sharing here.
Excellent. We're going to get ready to wrap up. Before I do, are there any last comments or questions? No.
One thing I like to say is that, if you follow the tips and then you proceed into our business program, what I want to say is once you create your value proposition, it doesn't matter the product. Once you get your business model set up, it can be from marbles to wigs. It doesn't matter. The model that you create, you can be successful with it because the product is that's the last part of creating the model and what you actively want to do in it. So I just wanted to share that. Just create your model, and everything else will kind of fall into place if you follow the steps.
Before we go ahead and transition, Terrence, for all the viewers, I want to do this for each one of you guys. Just kind of let everyone know how they can reach you moving forward if they want to contact you for further assistance on support with their business. Terrence, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Okay, what do you need exactly? Phone number and email? Will that work for you guys?
Whatever you want to share to the entire nation.
Okay, well, I'll give you my business line, and the phone number is 424-250-8277. Again, that's 424-250-8277. And you can reach me on my email if you have questions at tpope.biz@gmail. tpope.biz@gmail.
And just to review, you specialize with helping people in their getting investments?
In business education, business development. I'm a certified trainer with Shelon's program in BizTech IQ, so I will be coaching people through the process. So I'm one of the partners in the business, and just look forward to helping a lot of people.
Excellent. Thank you. Tanya, you're up next.
Oh, great. Yes, again, my business is the Virtual Business Loft, and you can reach me at Tanya M at virtualbusinessloft.com. You can check out one of my websites, virtualbloft.net and virtualbusinessloft.com. My telephone number is 424-218-9788. And I am also one of the consultants who works with Shelon, and I'm honored to be part of this production today. And let me add, I'm also the membership director at NSN-LA. So for all of you who are listening and you haven't renewed your membership, this is one of the benefits. You get to learn about important business tools such as this.
Thank you, Tanya. Now for you, Shelon.
Again, I can be contacted at 888-238-8935. And as far as my website, you can visit me at ShelonDouglasunlimited.com. That's SHELON Douglasunlimited.com. I'm really grateful that NSN has given us the opportunity to share some valuable tips and to be able to give back to all of us community members. We have much, much more to share and to give. And is this a good time, Ray, to...
Yes, perfect time.
Okay, perfect. Well, just to let you guys know, we're going to continue on with giving out some more valuable information by hosting a workshop to NSN members. And those of you who are not members, this is a good time to become a member to NSN. This is a free workshop for its members where you guys, it's called From Bricks to Clicks, executing your ideas or executing your innovation into your ideas into innovation, excuse me. And so at this particular workshop, those 12 steps that I mentioned about earlier, you would actually, it'll be interactive learning, edutainment, and you will walk away with a real solution on how your idea can first and foremost be innovative and how you'll turn that innovative idea into an executional plan. So thank you for the opportunity, NSN. I love you guys.
Thank you. Oh, he's on a roll now. Ralph, why don't you are our co-host, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, actually, also?
Fantastic, fantastic. So the business name is Innovatin, and basically, as I discussed a little earlier, we provide human resource consulting services in regards to making sure you're complying in certain in all areas of the business, and then also on top of that, employee engagement, increasing employee morale, as well as just creating a better, more effective environment for where employees as well as employers are really doing their part in really making an environment where people love to where they want to be, actually.
Thank you. And Kel?
Oh, well, I like to leave you guys with my words of wisdom. Beverly Boy Productions, we've been successful because of one thing. As Joshua was leading the children of Israel into the promised land, he took over the reins of Moses. So this was his first business. And he had to find out how can I be successful? And this was God's wisdom to him. That this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayst observe it to do all according to what is written therein. For then shalt thou make thy way prosperous, and then shalt they have good success. If you want to have good success, read your Bible.
Thank you, Kel. Thank you, Kel, for that. And basically, I am a wellness and business consultant specializing in business branding. So I help people strategically foster their health and the growth of their business through branding ideas and strategies. What I would like to do now is let everybody know about our next event that is coming up here. So if you guys see us online, if you are locally here in the Los Angeles, California area, we do have our next event this Friday, May 30th. It's a professional mixer network. You can come down, meet with us. If you have a small business network, gain some clients, talk with our sponsors for business opportunities and business relationship development. We highly encourage you to come out. And that pretty much will conclude our show for today. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I'm so glad that you participated in this presentation today.
Right.
So, Kel, we are going to let you bring us out.
Really quickly, I'm sorry, before we end it, can we make the 10 tips available for people to download if they're interested?
Actually, yes. What I'm going to do for people, I'm going to have a link we can put at the bottom of the video that people will see later, and we can link that to that information along with your contact information as well.